No, I've always talked like this.
It's, um, uh, well, before we get started and pass it off to Dalton here, just wanted to let everyone know that we do now have the website up and going, and you can check it out at unrealizedpurpose.com. Just type it all, just type it all in, and it'll take you to our newsletter. So if that's interesting at all, feel free to check it out. And yeah, pass it off to you, man. Yeah,
Awesome job on the website, by the way. It looks sick.
It is awesome. Wonderful.
appreciate it.
So,
Proud of you, son.
we're both proud of you, son. I'm just kidding.
All right, don't make it weird.
Anyways, hey, so this week we are talking about Pam Bondi, the United States Attorney General, the current one, and we're going to be running through her early life and some of her accomplishments. So, Pamela Joe Bondi was born on November 17th, 1965, in Temple Terrace, Florida, a small Tampa area suburb where her father, Joseph Bondi, served as a city council member and later mayor. Raised in a family committed to public service, Pam followed in that footsteps as well and developed a deep sense of duty and justice from an early age. Fourth generation Floridian, she pursued her education, um, earning a Bachelor of Arts in Criminal Justice from the University of Florida and a Juris Doctor from Stetson Law School. And so she's got quite the resume.
Yeah. What is a Juris Doctor? Doctor of
Well,
Jurisprudence or Doctor of Law is a graduate entry professional degree that is primarily prepares individuals to practice law. In the United States and the Philippines, it is only qualifying law degree. So, side quest
so
there.
it's just side quest, gotcha. So her early career, Bonnie began her legal career as assistant state attorney in Hillsborough County, Florida, where she spent 18 years prosecuting cases ranging all the way from domestic violence to capital murder. She tackled high profile cases such as the 2006 prosecution of former Major League Baseball player Dwight Gooden for probation violations, and the 2007 case involving the death of Martin Anderson, where she served in that case as the state assistant attorney, often under intense public scrutiny. And if you look into that case, you'll see why. We won't go into it this today, but you can definitely look up that 2007 case of Martin Anderson. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. That's by Martin Luther King Jr. And what a true statement to a lot of characters when you're going through immense amount of scrutiny, as Pam Bondi and several others were going through that case. And to stand your ground really shows your character and shows you how dedicated you are to the truth. And so these early struggles, they forged her tenacity and her commitment to upholding the law and giving a voice to both victims who needed a champion. And so her rise to a Florida attorney general, um, in 2010, Bondi entered politics running for Florida attorney general with no prior elected experience. So she faced a tough Republican primary against Holly Benson and Jeff Kopkamp. She leveraged her prosecutorial record and a key endorsement from Sarah Palin, and her media presence, sharpened by Fox News appearances, led to a primary win with 37.89% of the vote, which is, I believe, is pretty good
That's very,
for an
very.
attorney general. Um, and so,
Mm.
followed by a general election victory over Democrat Dan Gelber. So on January 4th, 2011, she was sworn in as Florida's 37th and first female attorney general. And so Winston Churchill said, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." And so, while we look at that as a victory, Bonnie's, historic rise demonstrates her boldness and her ability to seize opportunity. She's never run for a public office, went straight for attorney general, and won. She used all the bits of her character, everything that she's worked hard to get, to put towards that. As Florida's attorney general, um, which is not an easy job, from 2011 to 2019, Bondi confronted major challenges, including the state's opioid epidemic and pervasive human trafficking. When she took office, Florida was known as the pill mill capital of the U.S., with 98 of the nation's top 100 oxycodone dispensers operating within its borders. And so she
Wow.
pushed for legislation to shut down these clinics, though the state's drug poisoning death rate nearly doubled during her tenure. She also established the statewide council on human trafficking to fight modern slavery. And so, a good quote to go along with this is, "The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall." And, in any line of business, you're going to have failures, or you're going to have areas where you weren't able to push the way that you wanted to. And the only way to fail is to not get back up and try again. And so we see that, regardless of that, regardless of her setbacks and criticism, Bondi's persistence in advocating for the vulnerable highlighted her dedication to justice. And so, this next part that we get to, I just titled it as controversies. Um,
Mm,
you know, with each and every person you go through, there's always going to be some things that you question. And so, with every character, whether you're conservative or Republican or Democrat, nobody's perfect. But Bondi's tenure faced scrutiny. Her opposition to same-sex marriage, um, that definitely struck, an argument, in defense of Florida's ban. Drew backlash from your LGBTQ plus community advocates, which I think everybody here in this chat stands with her on that. Um, and so, while a $25,000 donation from Donald Trump's foundation in 2013 during her office's review of Trump University allegations raised conflict of interest questions. And so, during that time, obviously, there's going to be some scrutiny, there's going to be some questioning of why. And, that's just one of those things you got to sit back and you don't know. But, it's something, just to think about, and then, move on. So her ties to Scientology fundraisers also stirred debate, yet she defended her actions. And so I think some of the Scientology stuff was, she agreed to do fundraisers with them, um, to basically stop human trafficking. And so that's that's where that kind of came in. To me personally, I don't see a problem with that. I have a problem with the Church of Scientology, but I don't have a problem with I don't have a problem with people teaming up to stop human trafficking. Um, and so,
right.
but
And
it always
in
depends.
opposition to the NGOs with the Catholic Church that takes uh, untold millions to promote trafficking. So, yeah.
Hmm, I had not heard that before. But whoever you shake hands with in today's day and age, it's recorded. So each and every person, I'm sure, have shook hands with somebody that they didn't, 100% trust, but you know maybe you both have the same goal for at least one thing, and that you can work together in one way. And so, although you may disagree in 95% of the other ways. And
Mm,
so, uh, Bonnie's ability to stand resolute, amid public storms, um, has really shown her strength and conviction, even when her choices were polarizing to either one side or the other side. Um, so, which is exactly what you need when you're the Attorney General of the United States of America, because you're going to get a lot of scrutiny. Life is not going to be easy. I do not envy anybody's job in in Trump's cabinet.
Government.
um, but Bonnie's loyalty has definitely been shown to Donald Trump through as she joined his defense team during his 2020 impeachment trial and supported his 2020 election fraud claims. She never retracted these assertions. By 2024, she led the legal arm of the Trump aligned America First Policy Institute, shaping conservative legal strategies. On November 21st, 2024, Trump nominated her as U.S. Attorney General after Matt Gaetz withdrew, confirmed by a 54-46 Senate vote on February 4th, 2025, and sworn in the next day. She became the nation's top law enforcement officer. And so the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams is a quote by Eleanor Roosevelt. And I really think if you go after it and you stay true to fundamental truths, and you try to keep yourself clean, that quote can be true for you as well. So, um, day one as Attorney General on February 5th, 2025, Bondi launched her tenure with 14 first day directives, including a task force to investigate alleged Justice Department weaponization, crack down on illegal immigration. Her decisive actions, it showed a proactive approach, though critics questioned her independence given her Trump ties um, and her loyalty there. But Bonnie's bold start as Attorney General shows her readiness to lead, I believe, and her commitment to her principles. And so, as we close out with Pam Bondi, uh, her journey from Tampa's courtrooms to the Department of Justice, it reflects a career defined by service and an unyielding pursuit of justice. Um, it defines, just the level of her character. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. That's a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And so, as U.S. Attorney General, she continues to shape the nation's legal landscape. Her legacy, a testament to overcoming obstacles and seasoned victories all throughout her life. And so, she's definitely had a lot of pushback um, throughout each and every area of her career.
As she started with uh, moving toward the illegal aliens, as far as um, with Donald Trump, a lot of folks have looked at it like, well, she also needs to be more focused on, like, releasing the Epstein files. The JFK files have come out, not entirely, but for the most part, and then RFK has yet to come out. But I think too, um, you know, patience is something that we need to uh, consider here too, because we can't have everything all at one time. Although we all wish all of these things would come out now. We need to be patient and allow them. Dan Bongino had mentioned just the other day, he said, just because you don't see it happening doesn't mean that it's not happening, behind the scenes. So that's not an exact quote, but that's paraphrasing what he said. So, you know, things are happening. We just all wish it would happen all at once, and it just can't. So, kudos to her that she's getting things done, and we just all hope that we'll see some more activity uh, in the months ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something that that's definitely because I kind of said some of the same things to somebody else, and so um, when you say, well, you got to be patient, everything can't all come out at once. A lot of times people hop back and say, well, you weren't patient with the other administration as they were doing it, and it's like, no, no, there's a difference between being patient and then waiting for nothing, because during other administrations, it would have never happened. This administration, it's like, okay, there's the possibility. At least you can look and say there's the possibility of it happening. Um, but also, then you have to consider the names, that are on those lists. Um, if they just released the list of names on those lists, I guarantee you there would be some hits the next day. Um, and that's unfortunately that's the world that we live in. I mean, that list should have never existed to start with. um, but there may be some people with some top level security clearance that you have to deal with differently, that may be on that list. And so when you have someone in office say something like that, just because you can't see it happening doesn't mean it's not happening. It may be that they're dealing with cases in that of
Well,
that
and you're also
magnitude.
right. You're right, but you also do have to also consider the victims, because
Oh, most certainly.
you can, and uh, those have to be redacted. You can't thrust them out into the public eye, uh, and not have a reactive moment going on. They they I appreciate the fact that they are redacting the names of those victims. If they want to come out sometime in the future, well, God bless them. Let them happen. Let them come out and tell their story. But we don't need the press jumping all over them overnight, which they would do it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mm. All right. Well, we'll end it here, I guess. We'll hop over to the next episode, I guess. See ya.
Wonderful.